6:30, we call Sawyer County Public Works meeting to order. Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Ron Kinsley.
Here.
Mark Helwig.
Yes.
Ed Peters.
Here.
Dale Olson.
Here.
Brian Biznet.
Here.
Let the record indicate we have a quorum. We're all present except for Mr. Bissonette is virtual. Thank you. Certification from the open meetings law.
This meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. The agenda is in front of us. There's no changes to it. Number 5 is public comment. Ms. Zimmer, go ahead, please.
Linda Zilmer, Village of Birchwood, Edgewater property owner. And I wanted to make a comment. It's partially related to the Oasis building agenda item. For as long as the Veteran Service Officer has been reporting to the admin committee, I listen each month to what he explains and the building that he has been in and the clients that he serves. And most recently, he explained more about the increasing difficulties and conditions that his clients face. And it has really bothered me that his being moved to that office being moved to the Oasis building as opposed to being closer to the county building and law enforcement. And it's just, I'm highlighting that as an example of when the county board considers what is a policy matter versus a decision for the county administrator. And I do think that we're not just talking about moving offices within a building, we're talking about relocating somebody and other considerations. And I hope the county board starts taking more of that back under their purview than just having it an administrative decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anything?
I'm not sure. My name is Jane Schrader, and I'm here basically just to represent the Alliance and just to keep us in front of you guys if there's questions or short comments. And basically our trail system is, suffering right now a bit because of the storm and damage, and we got volunteers out there trying to clean it up. And we have this government committee that we formed to help with any complaints that landowners might have, and it's turning out to be kind of a good process. We're tweaking it yet, but we've been able to get to people who have concerns quickly and try to take care of them so they don't end up here with large problems. So we're just actively trying to keep the peace and keep our trails going. So end of the season is coming. We're in bonus time right now, but that's all. Just a quick report.
Thank you. Number 6, Public Works Committee meeting minutes from February 9th.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Olson, second by Mr. Peters. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 7, Sawyer County Airport report. Derek has put together a report for us, and he's here to answer all of our questions.
Any of those? A couple things I'd like to point out on top of it.
Yes.
Well, we have several members here that were present on this committee, all 3 of you at least, for all of Tom's hard work that he did over the course of almost 2 years with the airport contracts. That was kind of ushering in a new era for the airport. And I couldn't have thought of a better guy who was here to negotiate for the county to get the job done. Tom did a lot of work on that, and I just want to say that I appreciate it and a lot of the guidance that I've gotten over the years. I know the airport can kind of be a pain in the side, and some of the contractual and legal agreements that pertain to the airport are time consuming. And I apologize for being difficult, and I thank you for helping steer the ship and not only guide me professionally, but also kind of personally too. It's been a real pleasure. I look forward to seeing you on Friday night.
Thanks, Derek. I just want to say real quick too, Tom, you did an excellent job on all that contract and stuff there and getting some revenue on our side. So I really appreciate everything you've done, especially with the.
Yeah, we've got a good setup
Yeah.
now with the contracts and whatnot. So
Thank you very much.
airport's in good position going forward.
Keep it flying.
On top of all that, I know I sent the email off to both of our administrators. Usually in the past, each of the three of you remember, we always discussed having a 6-year improvement plan, which is something that we presented to committee every year, had them asked to take a look at. BOA is not really doing a 6-year improvement plan anymore. Now they just want to see some sort of capital improvement plan, which it's not a formal document. It's just, us acknowledging the fact that we know that there's things that need to get done at the airport, and the 6-year plan basically is what the CIP is just kind of what that looks like on paper. So our engineer, Rebecca Hoppy, as well as our engineer for the state, Matt Messina, put one together. I have a copy here. I shipped it off to these guys. I was just going to run down a few different things that were on here. It's a lot of the things we've been talking about for years. Obviously, we've got the upcoming runway project is on for next year. We're talking about a master plan. Close up on the dock up behind in 24 is talking about maybe doing an SRE building at the airport. Then we started kind of going off into the kitchen sink, talking about doing airport improvement projects like expanding the footprint, building more hangars out, and or putting like a new terminal building in, those types of things. So I can make this available and I could forward it, but it is just kind of a planning purposes thing. So we've never had the 6-year improvement plan, something that is motioned and approved at committee anyways. I don't think before in the past, so.
Well, this will be built into the CIP with everything else. So as we go through the budget process, we can kind of make sure
Some of
that
these
that's
things are
Wish
if
list.
money starts growing on trees type deal. So the county CIP needs to be a little bit different, I think, than what maybe we present to the state. But you need to have these things out there too, because if you're not on it, you're not going to get the funding when it becomes available. So that's just one of the little things that we're working on. I know it was on the agenda for several months, talking about an emergency response plan at the airport. I finally connected with Nate and shared some documents back and forth, and we're kicking around some ideas about doing some training out at the airport. Having some emergency responders out at the airport and inviting them out to see it in a non-emergency situation, so we can kind of discuss those different types of things. And we're kind of trying to establish a scope, but also develop a written plan that we can bring to this committee, because we don't have anything right now. And it's not uncommon for small airports like ours, but it's going to start becoming more common. It's one of those
The better you
things.
can get, the better off you'll be.
So,
Definitely should have a plan.
yeah, no, otherwise, I don't know, we put Durarock up on the reception desk today. So we're getting there slowly but
Rock on the
surely.
Desk?
Yeah, we're gonna tile it, the reception desk. Yeah, so we're trying to make things look nice. I was not happy to hear all the noise and the mess. I'm ready for that to be over. So as long as the building's done before Memorial Day, that's all that really matters at this point in time. It's the plan. Yeah, the bathrooms, tile's gonna be here next week on the bathrooms. So as soon as we get the tile in, then it's gonna be trudging forward. I've talked with Tim about that a couple times. I touched base with Tim kind of in the process. We got Dan Shanahan, the guy from the code, I don't know, the department that handles codes for the state of Wisconsin. I forget the name. But we had a lot of email communications back and forth with him about what the plans are for handicap accessibility and stuff like that. So I think we're running everything in the up and up, and hopefully it'll just be nice when it's done.
Mr. Schuler.
Derek, have you run into any budget overruns with your little project there because of supply chain issues?
I don't know. We tried at first going through a legit contractor in town, and having a full contractor come in and just do it all in one fell swoop, and then that kind of fell apart because it would have been cheaper to put up a new terminal building than it would have been to remodel that one. So now we've been kind of working directly with the tradesmen themselves, being kind of my own general on the project. So we took out an original loan and we had planned on just, any dividends on the year covering the difference. Well, we had to go back for a little more loan. But the hard part is that we wanted to have nice furniture, and we wanted to have stuff that wasn't just going to be for 5 or 8 years. Well, then Dan Shanahan stepped in and says, well, it all needs to be commercial fire rated furniture. So then we have to be able to furnish the evidence that it was certified fire rated. And those things all start to add up, so, but I'm happy with how it looks. And it's funny it comes up because there's a new infrastructure plan out there in the federal government that they're kicking around about money being available for new terminal buildings. And it's a long tiered plan. It's not just for like one-off 1 year. It's like a 5 or 8 year plan. Because terminal buildings have always been kind of low on the priority list. But even just today, we had the guy from Sawyer County did the water samples of the terminal building before, and he goes and takes water out of the holding the pump underneath the building, and he says, that your water pump, it's written on there, it's from 1972.
That's when the water was good.
Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna work well. It's for us and for our business. I think, but the square footage and for what it really is, that's why when we start talking about a master plan next, there really needs to be a clear plan moving forward, because we're servicing and the things that we're doing at the airport are, we need to have more than just a bathroom and, a pilot's lounge for people to come out to the airport. But once again, money doesn't grow on trees. So, but since you're asking about it, you got any money left over you'd like to?
Any questions for Dick?
No, I don't think anybody has.
Let's move forward. The master plan.
We talked about it at length last month. If you guys have any other questions on the process on this, I think we established it was going to be over the course of 2 or 3 years. It'd be about $15,000 to Sawyer County with the matching funds, and to push this plan through. And what it does is it also alleviates the need to do other improvement projects, like have a dedicated airport layout plan, because that's required for us to get all this federal funding. You have to have an updated ALP. Well, just doing an ALP will be part of this process now, and it won't be its own standalone project. So that right there could be $5,000 or $7,000 to the county in of itself, and we're due already the way it is. So I'd really like to get a motion from committee to send it to full county board next week for approval. And then I just have to work with our administration to make sure that we're getting the numbers adding up for the CIP.
I'll make a motion to approve this resolution. Resolution approving Sawyer County Master Plan Project Consultant Selection Process.
Motion by Mr. Hellwig, second by Mr. Olson to approve. Is there anything you want to speak on this?
No.
Any questions regarding it?
I was just wondering, should there be some statement in there of what the approximate cost is going to be to the county?
Do you have the numbers?
Well, they were presented to us at last month's meeting. It's about a $300,000 plan, of which the county is responsible for 5%.
Yes, I understand that,
Then, yeah,
but there's nothing in this resolution that states that.
Well, it's just like the runway project. When we did that, I think we actually sent it through again later, once we had the cost estimations to approve the expenditure. I don't know how this process even works. I'm still kind of fuzzy on it.
Well, DOA has the authority to do the selection process. We don't really have a say in the cost other than our share. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That was just my question. So if it's not necessary, it's not necessary. But it just seemed like it was something that was.
The number will come out eventually, and we'll know what it is. We don't know exactly what it is yet.
I guess since it is a selection process, it's not the
So would it eventually get put in this resolution or,
We'll probably have to do it within the dollar amount.
okay,
Okay. that's-
Or
Thanks,
simply
Ed.
when we budget, when we do our budget cycles for the next year, instead of putting $7,500 in our CIP for the year, we could just put an additional $7,500 2 years in a row over there.
We want to.
Yeah.
no problem.
Well, it'll be in the CIP, I guess. We have to do that for the runway project anyways. I'm assuming that's where we're going to identify it. But that's way above my pay grade.
So that's this year or next year?
Well, it'll
The
be,
15,000.
we'll get small bills throughout the process, adding up to. So it'll be a little bit here, a little bit there, basically for engineering services. That's what we're paying for, engineering services and consult for the.
Like you're
consultants.
asking, it's gonna be in next year's budget, correct?
Yeah, I'm pulling up the CIP plan now to see if we included that in it.
Well, we try to put the 7,500 matching in every year. for our CIP.
7,500?
Yeah. But how we use those dollars gets skewed because every time we do an airport improvement project, it's not an equal $150,000, of which our 5% 7,500. Whenever we do a big project, there's
I
way
was
more
just-
over the top, you know?
Saying 7,500, because a second ago we said 75,000.
Well,
No?
no, yeah.
So it's not in CIP for this
Gotta
year.
clean these out.
There's a mower replacement in there for this year.
Mhm.
Um,
Is that 22 or are you looking at 21?
I'm looking at 22.
Okay.
Now, we are holding money, annual 7,500, we're holding some of that. We can use some of that for that.
And that's where my thought process is on that. We need to keep, that's why I'm trying to keep a close tabs on these CIP projects and when the expenditures actually come due. Because we just wrote the check out the other day for our ramp project from the spring. All those dollars escape me because we approved the expenditure up to $50,000 for that process, and we put it in the CIP for our ramp project, and we ended up kicking out like 8, and we're done. I still am fuzzy on that, but they say we're done, and that they found extra money that we had prepaid from 7 years ago. But we can't take that money that we were going to spend and then put it towards something. I mean, was it, because that was an actual resolution to the board approving the expenditure for that runway project, or for the ramp project, I'm sorry. So we have some work to do in the CIP.
So we can amend the resolution a little bit to put the cost in and that it's gonna come from fund balance on hand in CIP that we're holding for.
Do that for us, the full board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? A motion by Mr. Helvig, second by Mr. Wilson to approve. There. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Derek.
Does anybody want me to stick around for any reason? I'm gonna see you Friday night. I'm gonna get home to the kids.
Number 8, thank you, Derek.
Yes,
Number
thank you,
8,
guys.
Highway Department report. Gary?
Okay, I see you got a mistake in the first sentence. Snow and ice control activates, should be activities. Also one correction, just an update, chainsaw safety. Vista Chainsaw Safety is going to actually take place April 12th and 13th, not the 19th and 20th. The 2 employees currently with work comp injuries, one of them just came back in today and he can now drive truck. So he does have overhead restrictions. So both the people out on work comp are back working. One never left work. And we still have the 1 employee out with a non-work related, and his return is looking like March 21st. Then also road bans will be placed at noon on March 17th. Our gas pump has been out at the highway department for a month and a half, probably going on 2 months. It's a supply chain issue. It's a part, and no joke, it's on a slow boat from China. So it's supposed to be here March 14th, the part. So if any of you see our vehicles out fueling up at gas stations, that's what we've had to do. We've had to shut off transit They've had to go outside the sheriff's department. No one can get gas at our facility right now, so.
There's some problems with the quick trip card yesterday. I believe.
Whether they, yeah,
Yeah,
we
Joe
just go
and
all over.
officers.
You know, we got vehicles that are fueling up in winter. We've got G1, G2, Cenex, and we're all over fueling up in the interim. And then the last thing, I've got a bid opener for asphalt and pavement marking scheduled for Friday, March 18th at 3 o'clock. It's not going to be really good news. The price of asphalt is projected to be at least $10 more a ton than 2021. It's, what's it?
$10 more a ton?
It's probably getting more than $10
Way
more.
more.
But it's been coming in at $10 more a ton. I talked to him last week. So yes, Dale, it could be, it could be really bad by the time we open on the 18th. So I've already kind of planned for that, and we're going to take one of our projects and we're going to delay it until 2023. So there's not much we can do. Just, we don't have so much money, and that's the main portion of our construction budget is the actual asphalt purchase. So that's all I have, unless anyone has some questions for me.
I think I brought this up before. I don't know if there's anything you can do. I think you told me it was DOT issue. The light at Kansas and 63,
That's DOT.
but I
It's
mean,
intermittent. I go through there about every week. I usually go through there as I go down and have coffee down there at Northwood Stove. And some days it works, some days actually now, Mark, I've actually chose to not even go through that intersection because it's,
well, the thing is, once a lot of people will start using that California and then go Kansas City, go Kansas Street, and that's gonna, that's gonna be a problem here in
yeah,
another
they're
year and
gonna
a
have
half
to
or
do
what it
something.
is. Yeah,
It's loop detectors, sensitivity of loop detectors. They're gonna have to do something with it.
just, I don't know, if you can,
I could make a note and tell them.
yeah.
Usually the city's pretty good at notifying DOT. Usually takes place through our traffic safety commission meetings, and usually they notify DOT if they're getting a rash of complaints on that, but I'll make a note of it and
Thank you.
contact them.
You said the 17th for road bans?
Yep, at noon. 17th, we got Price, Rusk, Washburn, and Sawyer are going on at noon. Burnett's going on at noon on the 16th, as well as Barron. Whole County's going on the 14th. Yeah, that's the ones I know off the top of my head.
Yes.
Gary, have you noticed any budget impacts with the price of gas? And without using our pump up there, do you have to pay more at these other stations? Do we get a,
Cost me $76 to fill up the Durango the other day.
I know.
Yes.
What about the highway department? Okay,
That's the highway department's Durango.
gotcha.
Cost me more than that for my truck. Yeah, no, we have noticed, it's huge. So not much we can do.
Right.
We do have a committee, our machinery management committee. It's a statewide committee that does do quarterly fuel reports. And then they adjust the equipment rental rates that we charge both ourselves and other agencies. So they will make that adjustment. Fuel, when you start to have a large increase in fuel is a percentage of the total equipment rental rate. So even though you might have a $1.50 jump in fuel prices, you're not going to see that same. It's not a direct correlation. It's a percentage of the total equipment rental rate.
Larry, this is an off the wall kind of question. Do we have anybody that takes the county vehicles home?
Me, superintendent. I think our foreman, our road foreman.
And why would that be?
We always have,
The convenience.
I mean, superintendent goes right out from his house. We went through this about
15
20
years ago.
huh?
About 15 years ago, we went through this.
It was more than that. It was
Well, we
actually,
revisited it then.
we revisited it in
Revisited it.
2003. We had quite an uprising at the highway department with highway committee members and they were looking to strip, they actually took vehicles away from everyone but me. And then they were all voted out of office, and then the committee came back in and they voted everyone to get the vehicles back in 2003.
There was mitigating factors to all that.
No, there wasn't.
You know there was.
There were no mitigating
Wait a minute, to
factors.
getting them back or?
No, they
Uh,
should have never
taking-
been taken away from them.
Well,
There was a
I'm just
reason.
curious why they were given to begin with. That's, I guess, it's-
They've,
They gotta get called out in the middle of the night sometimes. They start at what, 6 in the morning,
yeah, I
so.
mean, yeah, they go directly to job sites. The only one who doesn't go to the job site is me. You have to take away my vehicle, I'll beat Tom out the door. I'm only kidding. Not really.
you're not kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
All right, thank you.
Letter B, roundabout highway B.
Okay, last month I informed the committee that I was going to be receiving a letter from LCO about the possibility of installing a roundabout at the intersection B and K. I did receive that letter, which is attached. Chairman Lewis Taylor. So I reached back out to LCO. You know, they work hand in hand with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, who has an engineering staff. So I'm dealing with Nita Kemp of LCO Real Estate, and I haven't heard anything back. I did try and call a gentleman, Cameron Corbine up at BIA in Ashland to see, and I got his voicemail and I left him a voicemail. So at this point, I don't have anything. As I stated to the committee last month, I don't think we could fit a roundabout in there based on what's currently, there's only one vacant quadrant in that intersection right now. And roundabouts take a lot of space. So I don't know that it's even gonna be feasible unless there is some purchases or, I don't know. I'm not saying it's not possible. Maybe there is a way, but with only having one vacant quadrant, even if you were to shift the roadway to you'd be shifting it to the northeast. That's only a vacant quadrant. I don't know how that would even work. Because you have Dollar General, you've got Spirit, and you've got, I don't know what they even call the old mobile outpost. I don't know what that's even called.
Travel Plaza, Kubi's.
Yeah, Travel Plaza.
Yeah, that really wouldn't help anything out anyways, would it, Gary? That moving to the northeast.
Well, it would be the only way it might even possibly really
Right,
fit in. I mean,
but-
because you'd have a little jog and
Mm.
I don't know. But we're gonna look into it. I mean, I like the idea.
Yeah,
They are safe. They've been proven very safe. So,
Oh, we need something there, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's not a no-brainer. What?
People stop there, don't they?
Occasionally.
For the most part, they do. I don't know that we've had any fatalities there, but we have had a few serious accidents. One of them involving a Sawyer County ambulance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So we have had, it hasn't been without accident, but fatalities, none that I'm aware of.
Have we ever had any fatalities or big accidents at 63, 77, 27 there? You know,
Mhm. Yeah, our former sheriff got in a bad accident there years ago. I don't know if any of you recall that.
Mark?
No,
Oh.
Don.
Oh, Don, G.
And then my ex-grandmother-in-law and my ex-aunt were in a bad accident there too, also years ago. It's kind of a tricky intersection.
It
And the way that light is, we actually had an operator, one of our guys was confused and he drove the paver through there on basically incorrect signal he went through on. People were braking and it could have been bad, but he's crawling and it's a huge machine and people saw him, but
What were you guys doing on O today?
trying to open up the road. We had it basically with one lane snaking through. So we went up there and took a crew up there and we had a lot of damage, tree damage over
Mhm.
over the weekend. It wasn't just the ice, us out fighting ice on slippery conditions. It was also cleanup.
Yeah, those
So-
trees, I saw a lot of
Yeah.
the stuff
Yeah.
that was down and, yeah. I was out there.
Double O was pretty bad.
you know,
Mr. Schultz.
Well, Gary, another thing, the tribal governing board was a little concerned about connecting those two bike pedestrian trails there too.
Yeah,
And we
Yes,
talked
sir.
to DOT about something we could do there. And Craig Thompson, right, the secretary?
mhm.
And he's been willing to look at that for us, but they haven't come up with a plan yet. So a roundabout's kind of what we wanted that investigated to see what we could do there.
Well, I don't know how that would. I don't know how
Yeah,
that would
and we
help.
thought of that
I
too,
mean,
but
that's-
we wanted the experts to look at that
Yeah,
and how we get it, because there's usually, parents and kids trying to cross that to get to the
yeah.
town of Hayward Trail and get on our trail,
Right,
and there's just no good way right there.
no,
So-
that wasn't,
I'm just,
You know, I was
we're just
involved in
interested to
this from
see
the
what
very start.
what could come of that and what's,
that was not the plan for the trail. I don't know how the trail got to be where it was. It was done without involvement of, definitely without my involvement.
right,
The trail was never supposed to be there. The trail was supposed to go further to the east. So the trail along County Road B, that right now for the county portion terminates at K.
yeah,
That was supposed to cross on K, go down by the ball fields and cut through there. And for some reason, somebody, unbeknownst to me, I don't know who the person was or people were, they decided they were gonna bring the trail up and end it back behind the LCO Motel Lodge. Which now we have a gap that somehow people have to get through a crowded parking lot over to our section. I think the only solution really we could do, Tweed, would be to abandon that section of trail and have another section come out the way it was originally supposed to be. Because I don't know how you're gonna get them through that intersection through the parking lot. There's not a lot of room to work with in there. Everything's pretty much spoken for already.
Do we need to have the roundabout on again next month? when we have more
Yes.
information?
Yeah, if we could, Lynn, by then I should have information from BIA and possibly LCO too. Because if BIA doesn't have the resources, then maybe we'll have to look at having the consultant come in and just, I mean, we're talking real preliminary.
Yeah.
Not detailed at all, just come in there and is this even something we can do?
Thank you. Forward, number 9, maintenance department report. Mr. Hagberg is unable to make it tonight, but he did provide us with a report. Any questions or concerns? We'll move on to number 10, courthouse construction update, letter A, Oasis building update.
Yeah, I can mention something about that. Tim, excuse me, was not able to make it this evening, but he did have an update in his report regarding the remodeling that's going on at Oasis. He's been working with Gary and getting that remodeling done, and I think they're going to start moving tomorrow. So they should be moved in, no problem, by the 15th. So that's all gone very well. So,
We already started,
pardon me.
we already started.
Well,
I
there we
talked to
go.
Gary today.
Okay.
I need to speak to him, but, I had a question on that. Is, in the building, I haven't been in there, is there some, like, rooms that they can go into and, because I know that he's a counselor down there in the past.
Yeah, so there's a conference room in the back right now, and then that big space in the middle, that's just space, that will be a conference room as well. So there's gonna be walls around that space. And so then the ADRC and Gary could use that when they have a bigger group of people. So there's a smaller conference room, and then there'll be a slightly larger conference room out there. So it's gonna work well with, both ADRC and veterans. There's some commingling there, excuse me, of people visiting the facility, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any questions regarding Oasis building? If not, let's move on to letter B. Excel Energy electric overhead distribution easement discussion of possible action.
Wanna take that?
Yeah, I'll try. I was hoping Tim would be here because he's the one that actually met with Excel and knows the specifics of what this is in regards to.
Yes.
I just kind of got involved with helping get the easement drafted with Excel to the committees, ready to go county board. We did have TJ Duffy review this today. He has given me through email his okay that it's fine, ready to go. I know he did have some discussions with John McHugh City when they were reviewing the.
So this is for the electrical for, because we're putting the second court roof on, they have to redo a bunch of stuff. And this is allowing them permission to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, and the good news is that it does help Excel Energy too. That pole that's right on the corner of Fifth and Main keeps getting hit by semis trying to cut the corner. So that pole will be removed, and because it helps Excel, then they do it at their cost instead of us having to pick up the tab. So that's been beneficial for us as well.
So they're
Plus-
putting in a post at that, where that arrow is there, a box instead of a pole?
I'm not sure what they're putting in, but the pole will be gone. So you have a short time to hit it if you want to.
I prefer not to. Thanks.
So, anybody have any questions regarding what's going on there?
So this is granting Excel an easement to do the work that they need to do.
So we need any motion on this?
Yes, so this will be a easement that will be approved by the county board as well.
And then, do we need a cover resolution on this or not?
Yeah, I don't see it.
That's probably helpful because it's the
Yeah.
routine, but it's good, as far as the way this is set up, which I understand because I've been through it a lot. It's a routine thing. They aren't gonna do it until we get approval to do it, so.
All right, so we'll get a cover resolution.
Yeah,
So leave it till we get the resolution now, and we can go ahead and
yeah.
And they'll have a regular resolution at the full board.
Okay, that was my question. Thanks.
make a resolution to,
Motion.
or, yeah, I don't know, resolution, anything. Make a motion to approve the request, thank you.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Helwig, second by Mr. Peters to approve. Any discussion?
And I'm certain this is just on county lands. I mean, the map that they provided is obviously on Forest Service as well as everything private land.
This is this business area.
Yeah, that came up today and then TJ finally signed off that it was on county.
Okay.
What about that arrow there that goes,
To nothing.
well, yeah, kind of, there's a little circle there, excuse me. That, and then the arrow that is kind of pointing towards the little red line, I'm guessing that's where it goes in underground.
Looks like a tree.
Cause that's it's a church property, and then they take that house out of there. That's the.
Tim has been involved in this, and I'm sure that Tim's gonna do the best
Oh,
he
wait,
can
no.
to take care of the county. The bottom line is we don't approve it, they're not gonna do it.
Yeah. I'm in the wrong block. I'm a blockhead.
So we have a motion of Mr. Helwig, second by Mr. Peters. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Letter C, closed session. Courthouse construction bid update, discussion, possible action pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.851E, deliberation or negotiation of purchasing of public properties, the investing of the public funds, and conducting the other specific
I think we should ask Andrew where he's coming.
public business, for whatever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session. Yes.
Could we just, Andrew is on the line from Myron Construction. You know, we do have a bid process underway, which is the reason for the closed session to talk about anything that compromises the competitive nature of those bids. Is there anything that we can talk about in open session, Andrew, or should we go into close right away to discuss where we're at?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Now we can.
All right, good evening. Yeah, we took bids on the 14th of February. And we're in the process.
Andrew, we're in open session.
Correct, yep. So, yeah, I was gonna say my recommendation would be going to closed session to discuss those bids.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85, parent 1, parent E, for deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business
Locked in here, you know.
whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session.
Thank you.
Ron Kinsley,
Oh, you need a second?
Yes.
Oh, I'll second that.
sorry,
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Olson, second by Mr. Howard. Thank you. Yes, roll call vote, please.
Ron Kinsley,
Yes.
Mark Elwig,
Yes.
Mr. Peters,
Yes.
Am I
Mr.
here?
Olson,
Yes.
Mr. Bissonnette.
Yes.
Let the record indicate. All in favor to approve by unanimous vote. Thank you. We're in closed session. We're back. Number 12, correspondence, reports of things we need. We know we have a few things that we want on the agenda for next month. At this time, then nobody has anything. I would like to thank Mr. Keith for stepping forward to fill in for the administrator until we can get someone seated in that position. And I'd also like to thank Mr. Hoff for all the guidance he's given us over the many years. Much appreciated. Thank you. And good luck to your adventures moving forward.
Thank you, sir. And I want to say too to this committee, since this is the last time I'll see this committee, it's been great working with you guys, and good luck in the future. Appreciate it.
And please,
Oh,
get this
yeah,
resolution.
Yes, no.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.